This is To Wit, a podcast for women in tech doing life, and I'm recording from my closet. I'm Melinda Smith.
I'm Kristi Guzman. I'm pretty sure that you just gestured lovingly when you said that and you hit something.
Yep, I hit my shoe tub thingies.
Oh.
They're acrylic. They hold all the heels I don't wear anymore.
Why are you hanging out in the closet today, Melinda?
I feel like my audio has been really crappy lately, like really tinny and echoey. And my closet is full of warm clothes and wood. And honestly, sitting in the laundry basket's pretty freaking sweet right now. I'm enjoying it. I will apologize preemptively for the sniffling, and I will try and edit it out. A little bit of a head cold. Apparently being at sea level, then a mile high, and then heading to 10,000 feet or whatever I was at in the mountains, my body was like, okay, that's about enough.
How about not?
Yeah, just take it down a notch there, elevation queen.
Down. It's crazy that we have had two events. Like, we've each gone to an event since we last chatted.
I feel like we have so much to discuss. So much. We have Southeast Dreaming. We have Trailhead DX and all the fun things in there. Then I have some like other topics, and you have other topics, and there's super faves and stickers.
Stickers.
Always stickers.
Dude, I loved your idea to Amy on the Twitter about her stickers on her laptop. To disconnect the top of the laptop and frame it.
100%.
That is so smart, because I've always, well, to be fair, I was worried about like work laptops I'd have to give up, so in which case I would not have that option. But
I'll buy it.
The laptop dies, right?
I will buy it.
I'll buy this Mac just so I can have all my stickers. But I mean, we've talked about the fact that like I don't stick certain stickers until I'm like I get something that I'm going to move with me because they're special stickers.
Very true.
So I liked that idea. So sorry your laptop died, Amy, but good idea with the stickers.
I've told you before, I think, that I am still trying to come up with an idea to display my favorite stickers, which are in a sticker binder right now. And I have the laptop, but I think what I'm still going to do is I'm considering like an acrylic cloud logo, Salesforce logo, or an acrylic something that I can put them on and hang them wherever I am. I thought about like frame.
I want to get like a magnet board. Then I can put the stickers on it, and it still works as a magnet board. A whiteboard with, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want them to just sit in a binder. I want them out. But I also thought, which this is like taking it to the next Salesforce geek level, I want space so I can also like scrapbook and say what the sticker's from, maybe who gave it to me or why it's fucking important to me, because hashtag I heart stickers. So I still haven't thought, like, I haven't come up with something yet. I thought an acrylic cloud that could hang like from the ceiling and you could have on both sides. I am not totally sold on that unless it's a color so you don't see them through the other side and you can write on it and something.
We're getting really creative here. Did you see ever the cloud toilet paper roll holder?
What?
So obviously this is not for stickers, but I'm just thinking of like how we make clouds into everything. And so I love how I'm gesturing and only you can see me, but it's basically like little half circles that are toilet paper roll sized, and they're arranged like in a bottom half of a cloud shape. And so you put it on a wall, and then you put the toilet paper rolls on it, and they build.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Shape. But of course, I'm like, oh, I'm not paying for that. I could make that with PVC pipe chunks that I would cut in half and glue together.
Deck nails.
And sand and paint. And yeah, so you can imagine how far I've gotten with that. But
I got you a present today that will make you laugh even more after this. Nope, not telling you. You're going to have to find out and we can talk about it.
Snail mail is a good thing, is when you're sending me something.
Yeah, truly. And even then I'm like, do I need to like insure this? This is important to me. Though some things, it doesn't matter what you give me money wise. But I digress.
this package, ma'am.
Yeah, it is.
You mean the emotional investment?
Yeah, it is irreplaceable. Do you even understand? Let's talk about what we learned before all of our other fun stuff. Not that learning isn't fun. It is fun. Learning is fun.
Yeah? What did you learn?
So at Trailhead DX, I had obligations and then some sessions. So I only really got to afternoon sessions because I volunteered from 7:30 to I think like 10:15 in the morning at the Camp Quick Start, which was super fun. And people get badges, and you know when you get a badge it says woohoo. So I was all woo because I had to scan them, and it's like 8 a.m. and people are looking at me. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. You are in Camp Quick Start.
Pump it up.
It says woohoo. You're getting a woohoo in the face, and then I'm getting scanned. After volunteering, I went to a couple sessions, but I think the one in the afternoon, if I get the time right, is I went to Peter Chittum's session on if you can write a formula, you can use the command line. Now, remember, last year at Trailhead DX, the key developer keynote with Leah was all about DX, and I was like, "What? This is amazing! I have no idea what we're talking about. How do I get to the command line? Where does this black screen come from? I don't think I understand." So I enjoyed the excitement of others, but didn't totally get it. So I decided to go to this one kind of on a whim. Amber Boaz was in there, Kelly Ventubo, got to sit with my friends, and I got it. Like I actually understood. Now, could I just tell you all of the acronyms and the stuff right now? No, but I got what he was saying, and I got it in a sense that I felt like not only the light bulb went on, but that I could do it more than I could write, I don't know, write Apex or write an intense formula. And I was so freaking jazzed that I'm like, my brain comprehended and wanted to know more. And I was like, yes, this is my way to look into the matrix without totally writing Apex, because the parentheses and the commas just get me. So I'm telling Ashley and Miranda, we were walking to the Women in Tech breakfast, and I said something about knowing that. And, you know, Miranda had said, like, she's like, I'm a heavy developer. I do this all day long. And even I don't know the acronyms, and they change it. Cause I was like, I'm not sure I know what negative D is or negative Q. And she's like, don't even try. Nobody is going to know that. But she's like, I still have a cheat sheet. So I don't know when I'm going to use it, but I am going to freaking use it. And I'm super jazzed that there's this like whole new realm of stuff that I can go play with. And I get it. Oh my God, I get it.
So what's so funny, and the reason that we're just mental partners in crime, is because I definitely went to this session at London's Calling, and I know the Trailhead X ones will be linked eventually, but we'll link to the session because they were recorded in London. And so if you can write a formula and you think you want to try and get it, then that will be there for you. And eventually the Trailhead X one will come out too. But it was really interesting. And again, thinking about that bridge for the admin-developer, right, of getting to code, I think you start assuming like, oh, just write a simple trigger. But there's other things with SOQL queries in certain places and things like this with the command line that are kind of part of that bridge to help you get there.
I'm super stoked about it. I don't know what.
And Peter's pretty cool.
He's really cool.
Pretty cool. So yeah, that's lovely. I'm happy that you found something new and fun.
I know.
In my continued community adventure, I discovered that you can render components by audience. So I think we've talked about the fact that some of the components that are there for Lightning pages aren't there yet for communities, and I don't know what the rhyme or reason is, but things like related list singular isn't on a community page. Aside from that, the experience is pretty similar.
Like a dynamic component as a user?
So a dynamic component as a user, yes, where you can render to only certain
filter and
profiles or certain, same kind of concept. So previously you can only do pages per audience, but now you can do components per audience.
This is awesome.
So this is helpful because we have multi-country, right? So whether we're presenting a different image as part of the rich text or whatever it might be, we have choices for logged in users to be able to show them different things. So And audiences you build similar to kind of what you do with the dynamic components, right? So you can, by profile type, by that kind of stuff. So you can, details about the user. So it's powerful for authenticated communities. It'll be helpful. So
what template are you
there's
using?
we're using a partner community, but it's decently custom. Well, I mean, that's the struggle, right? Is like, yeah, we want to use the quote unquote out of the box features, but then can this just be over here? And like, can this look different? And so that's not actually how marketing sounds,
I
but
mean, but don't they?
but it's kind of, then you start getting into custom CSS, and then it's not quite as out of the box, but it's at least based in Salesforce, which gives us a lot of power in different ways.
That's
So
very cool and on topic for me to
yeah,
know.
communities.
We're doing so this product that we're trying to help, the hub product, even though it'll be like Blue Wolf now or whatever. It's been a little sidelined just right now because we haven't sold anything yet and we need to get on building some hours. But the salesperson and I are still diligently working, and someone wanted a proof of concept for communities. And I talked with the salesperson and someone else. I'm actually not sure of her role, but they wanted to spend upwards, or they were going to quote them upwards of $8,000 for a proof of concept. And I said, well, I mean, we could, but let me just quote you out a stand up. And I haven't done communities. Well, one, since before Lightning was a thing and they were super janky, clunky. Yeah, clinky.
Portals.
Yeah, for sure. And then I helped someone in my first consultant role doing some components. So it's been a while. But it's good to know that we can make those simple changes and hopefully get them, what they want in a quick turn.
Yeah, the nice thing is, and for whoever that client might be, right, working with a consultant or developer, if you don't have those resources, it's been nice. For example, like they built me a custom component, but they're great about using custom labels and custom metadata types and things that I have control over. So even though they're custom, I can update the image path without having to go to them, right? Like, and those kind of references. So for example, we've got for our authenticated users, we've got a accepting the terms and conditions criteria. So they built us a small component that I can put on every page that then I can build an audience to say, if for the user this field is not checked, then display this page as opposed to that page. So that way they can't proceed and do anything through the app, even if because technically you can do that in other ways, but it's just been interesting to work with a developer that's thinking about, well, I don't want people to be able to go and type in the link directly and overwrite what we're trying to do. So this way the component is doing the check and it includes the I approve button. And then I just have to set up the audiences. Now I have to set up page variations for every one of my pages. Again, not ideal, but it definitely helps us meet the business requirement. And it was a pretty quick component for them, which for me is mind blown.
Yeah,
right? So
for sure.
It's an interesting, working with someone who can have that mix to extend the templated pieces within components that are like Legos that I can just plug in where I need.
Ooh,
so
can I see one day?
There's yeah, sure.
I look at your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Well, why don't I show you details about my event I had? What a good segue.
What a good segue.
It's crazy because I totally thought we had talks in Southeast Dreamin', but it could be because I was halfway a crazy person the week before Southeast Dreamin' when we talked to Toya. So it feels like it's been so long. But
I like this game.
It has only been a few weeks. So we had our third event in Atlanta. We had about 300 people there. And I think it went really well. It's always tough judging my own event because I don't actually go to sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I do, but this year I did not. And so I've heard great things. We've gotten great feedback. At the closing keynote, we're giving out prizes, and I'm just vamping up there and talking because, you know, I'm so shy. So they asked me to do it. And it was just great to see, like, who has met someone new. Like, pretty much everybody raised their hands, right? Who learned something new. Pretty much everyone raised, like, that's it. That's the whole rigmarole of what we go through to get these things together, and the corral the sponsors and the speakers and the location and all the things and the name tags and the internet going down while we were trying to check people in, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But in the end, like, I met some great people, and people met other people. That sounds, people meeting people.
People meeting people.
Had a scavenger hunt app that was
shut the front door. Fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. So Zinbit helped as part of their sponsorship to build and coordinate that, and so there was a different task you had to do at each booth, and then it unlocked points for you that got you tickets to win prizes. So I think that went really well. It got us a bunch of pictures, so I'll link to the picture video that they posted, assuming that they've posted it by now. I'm assuming they have. So lots of pictures at booths and people with swag, and so yeah, that was really great. We had our Trailhead-a-thon, so people earned their custom magical Southeast Dreamin' 2018 badge, which we were the first people to do last year. So if you were there last year, it can go with your 2017 badge. Of course, great support from the Salesforce staff for keynotes, and just in general. Alex Pisani was there to help rock it up. We got him some nice groom attire. He got his own chalice, Mr. Trailblazer chalice. For the reception, he's getting married soon. It was black cup, and it said Mr., and it was the solo cup on top of the candlestick thing that makes, like, the fancy
the candelabra.
And the lovely and talented Stephanie First made the Trailblazer part to put on it, so he was Mr. Trailblazer.
Dude, that's awesome.
It was super fun. So yeah, it was great to see people, the team, everyone plays their part and gets all the things rocking and rolling. And we had the MVP announcement for new MVPs came out the day before. Fun! And so we had, I want to say, 5 new MVPs, maybe 4.
Shut up there.
Including one on the team. Yep, because you had Chris and Stacy, and now I'm gonna feel so bad because I can't
you're
remember
kind of on the spot.
Who else. Oh, Evan Johnson is new, and there was one other one. But
who knew that I would be so excited about the next announcements? Like, I was so, like, I had the jitters. I was so excited to hear about the announcements. That's so cool that they learned basically there.
Yeah, because Chris Whitehead is on the team, and amazing. He is just so great about me being like, Chris, can you please do this for me? Or reaching out to me to be like, what can you do? And just, he's the tech brain of the team, so he manages the website stuff and the registration connection to the badges and like all printing them and all that fun stuff. So
hello, my name is.
Yes, he is wonderful, and I'm excited that he made it, and he found out right when we were there, so we got to celebrate him. And I actually registered for my own conference this year, so I had a real badge instead of a sticker badge. Yeah, last year we went to do check-in, and we're testing, and I was like, can I get my badge, just to be snarky? And they were like, no, you didn't register.
I'm sorry, and you are?
So it turned into a test of the badge printer, which is also effective. So yeah, I'm never going to live that down. Chris, speaking of things we'll never live down, Chris Zolo actually showed up. Ooh. He's been on the team, but has never been able to make it. So that was fun to never let him live down. And yeah, we had 3 opening keynotes. So we had Lightning or Pardot or developer Doug Ayer's adventure. So that was a good new thing. We had Molly Ford close it out. And that was right when the new equality video had come out. So yeah, it was a great day and a half.
Dude, it sounds like an amazing event. Well done, you and team.
Why, thank you. And this venue worked out well. So now we can have it there again. There's room to grow, and we don't have to worry about a new venue and not being familiar because we're not there, all of us. So check, check, check.
That's the best.
Da, 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 da. So yes, it's.
I got you stickers for Florida Dreamin' from Steve Harris.
He was definitely there.
Oh, did you already get some?
Multiple people. No, they didn't have him yet.
Yay!
Multiple people on the Florida Dreamin' team were there to check it out and experience it, and it's great.
Scope your shit.
They won prizes, which was really funny. So, yes, it was good. Yeah. Although the funniest thing that I remember is the reception when I am like still a chicken with my head cut off. It's possible I'd had a few drinks, right? So I was just like still not focused.
Sure.
Saying hello to all these people. And Steve says, like, we definitely want to chat about event, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can't wait until your event. And I'm going to come up to you at this point, and you're going to realize how ridiculous your question is right now. I love you so much. And I totally want to talk about it. Not the time. Bye-bye.
Oh my God. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was like, yay, Florida Dreamin'. Like, nope, can't. I have no brain cells for you yet. Don't talk to me.
Hit me tomorrow.
Yeah, right. So yeah, but then it was so close to TDX that I did not make it to the Westy Coast, but it looked like you had.
I did. I don't know what I was thinking when I booked my trip, because I left too soon. My flight was at 2 on that Thursday. I mean, the closing keynote wasn't even till 3. I think I had my Dreamforce brain on because at the end of that 5 days, you're down to go. But like there was the Women in Tech breakfast, and I had to leave that, and it was gorgeous. It was like 70s. It was so beautiful there. So, I mean, that's my only regret is it was just too fast, but aren't they all? I mean, it's always too soon.
Right. Never. Yeah. Or if you'd done it the other way, then everyone else would have left and you would have been by yourself.
Yeah, totally. So aside from, and I'll get to that, all of the cool fun things, the funny things that happen is I was mistaken for an employee and accidentally ushered in with an employee bracelet and was like, wait, no, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. And it was like in the back of Moscone before it all opened. And when I realized, I was like, oh, look, I'm back here. Oh, there's a big Cody. And I took a picture. And then like the moment hit me and I'm like, you are not supposed to be here. Get out of here. So I hustled out because it was just kind of a mistaken identity and I went in the wrong door, but I acted like I knew where I was supposed to be. So I think that's why, because in my head, I'm like, well, I'll go register and then check into my room. Well, registration didn't start till 2. So I kept trying to open the doors. Like I knew what was going on. And they're like, no, dude, you got to go to this door. I'm like, why am I going to loading dock? This is weird. But when you act like you know what you're doing, he was like, are you? And I said, no, I'm volunteering tomorrow. He's like, okay, well, here's a bracelet, make sure you reach your contact. And I walked through and I was like, wait, I'm not supposed to be. So I hustle out because I'm like, I don't want to be mistaken or look like I'm trying to like skirt something. So then I go and check into my hotel and I'm annoyed. I'm standing in line. There's like 17 people in line. I'm exaggerating. There's like 7 and like 2 people to check people in and then 2 concierge just sitting there. So I'm like annoyed, like giving them the evil eye, like come freaking help check us in. So by the time they pick me, she pulls up my name and she can't find it. And I was like, oh, sweet baby Jesus, I don't have a room. How? So I'm at Park 55 and I'm freaking out. So I'm pulling up. I keep everything in a folder.
Blue Wolf booked you, right?
No.
After in the end?
No, I booked myself.
Oh, that was
Dreamforce. Yeah.
Okay.
So
sorry, go ahead.
Because they weren't going to take care of it. And then they did. And I was like, well, I'm going to go. So anyway, so I pull up my confirmation and she was like, do you have it? And I said, I do. Is Park 55 also Park Central? And she says, it is not.
It is not.
So I hustle my butt over there. Side note, great location. Like around the corner from Moscone. It was awesome. Great hotel. Wonderful people. And then on Wednesday, I'm like, I just need some lunch real quick. It was after my volunteer shift, before my sessions. I had like an hour break. And I was like, oh, I'll go to Jillian's right across the street. So I'm standing there. I
Mm-hmm.
looked at the web, says it opens 11. We're waiting. I'm waiting there with other people. And I was like, oh, I guess 11 is a loose time frame. And so someone come and let them in. They have like clipboards. So I go in too. I sit at the bar. I'm alone. And finally, a very smiley, kind manager was like, hey, so we just remodeled. We haven't actually opened yet. And then there's a private event at 4. I was like, I laughed and said, it's just par for the course. I keep inviting myself into places and people keep letting me in where I have no business being at all. So I left.
Looks great though.
I was like, but the remodel, primo, looks amazing. I do see beer at your bar. Did you? No. Okay, cool. I'm going to go. So I left. So those are my fun little mishaps. And within like the last week before TDX, I was asked to be on the career panel.
Ooh.
Yeah. Charlene asked me and I was like, yep, 100% I'm in. So I sat on a panel with Luke and Shauna, and it was mostly college kids that were learning about Salesforce, learning about Trailhead or something in that vein. So we just sat there and talked about like our career path, and she was a great moderator, really great at like leading the conversation and what's important to you, what's a great advice you've gotten, and then chatting with the kids later. And then outside was a little career fair. So like my company had a booth or like a little table and was taking people in. So that was a ton of fun. And then went from there to the MVP happy hour and then the Pep Up Tech event, and then was so wiped out that I like just so freaking tired.
Went back to the Park Central.
Yes, the correct hotel. But you know how it is catching a cab there. So I walked 7 miles in 6 hours. And then, next day I volunteered and I got to go to sessions. It was amazing. And then on the last day, because Amy was asked to do a campfire session on imposter syndrome, but I guess in Sophia's email, it says, hey, if you can't, would you suggest somebody? So she passed me the ball. And I got to do a fun little campfire session on imposter syndrome. But just to get all like meta and inception on you, I was having imposter syndrome about giving a talk about imposter syndrome. And I was kind of freaking out about talking about freaking out.
Your outfit was on point,
oh my God,
though.
wasn't it so cute? It's my new favorite. So it's supposed to be 20 minutes. I'm a fast talker, but Ashima was there and Carrie McClouse now was there and friends, but it was like kind of a full house. So I got a little nervous, but the great thing about a campfire session is it's supposed to be interactive. So my portion about what it was, the definition, how I experienced it and how I came across it and how I delivered it to my women in tech and had to tell myself to quit freaking out about, giving this talk because I'd done it before a long time ago, and then interacted with the crowd and how they have experienced it. And then it kind of just parlayed into being authentic and how comparison is the thief of joy. And it went really, really well. But I think the thing that was kind of the most heartwarming is afterwards, like people wanted to talk to me. I had someone that was applying with Blue Wolf, or one of my colleagues' sister wanted to chat with me. And like, it was, I don't know, kind of a weird, like you feel like you're just this person that does your thing. But to have people that were like, hey, I just wanted to chat with you a little bit more. I was like, really? That's really sweet.
I call that Salesforce famous. Like no one else would know or understand, but like people know who you are and they're interested in you and they're wonderful.
They really are. And all week, so
Yeah,
I did that app cookbook video with Jen Lee, Shauna Hughes, and oh gosh, I'm forgetting the other person. What a dick move. So the video was released right before, and they gave us these cute little cards with our picture on them to hand them out. And I had a few people that was like the marketing team that I did meet with, their boss, come up to me at the Women in Tech breakfast and give me a big old hug and say, thank you for doing it. And I was like, wait, what? No, thank you for asking me. I'm appreciative. And the day before I was, nabbing stickers at booths. I'm like, what do you got here? What do you got here? I'll take 2. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to take 5. I was standing there with someone that edited my video and he was like, oh my God, I recognize you. I loved your video. So I did feel very much like Salesforce famous, but I was humbled by the people thanking me when I feel like I was grateful and I was thankful for them asking me to be involved. So it was, I don't know, it was a short but really meaningful trip. I mean, I often come away from these conferences feeling like I didn't spend enough quality time, or I said hi too fast to this person, or I didn't get to see this person. But I know everybody feels like that. Everyone feels like there's not enough hours in the day to see your people when you're all in the same building, essentially. So that was a little, like, I never saw Ryan the entire time at all.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so you were just in Moscone
Yeah,
West, right? Just to give people who've been to Dreamforce some kind of context. Like, did you feel like you were crowded in with a
I
bajillion
didn't.
people, or that you like so it felt like an approachable amount
Yeah,
of
the only thing that
people?
was kind of a shit show was the trading post. So the trading post is where you got your backpack and anything you earned from the quests, or, um, if you donated to the organization, that the Rainbow Astro Unicorn. Um, I'll put it in the
Mhm.
show notes. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering off the top of my head. Um, that line and that situation got a little crazy. It's the first time I've ever seen a Salesforce person be snappy, which was really, and I'm sure she was doing, like, she had to do her best. Like, there was a lot of milling. There was milling and grouping and no way.
Give me my animal, give me
So they
my
like shut it
chicken.
down a
Yeah.
couple times, and we're like, we're not taking any more in line. So we kind of lined up outside where the line would be. And she was like, but we're not taking anything. You can't line up here. And we're like, people were like, well, I'm not lining up. I'm just standing neatly. It's like, I don't really know. So if that was the only thing that was, I don't want to say mishandled. Like, it could have been done better, but I mean, I got my shit. Everyone got it eventually. They just had to be a little more patient or come back later. Um, but no, I mean,
Can I just say how much I love with the cookbook? And I know I'm jumping back a second here. Um, how proud that the first time I heard about it was because your husband Facebooked it because he was so
he's
proud
so
of you.
sweet.
And I
He's a
love
good
that.
man. I sent him the link just so he could see it, and I sent it to my mama. And my mom was like, I loved it. And then I did the things in the modules, and she's talking to me, and I realized halfway through, I was like, holy shit, mom, did you do Trailhead? And she's like, yeah, she's an interior designer. So she loves tech, and she like
Yeah,
uses all of that cool new tech stuff. And she's always been, she worked in Silicon Valley. She was like a motherboard, uh, team lead shit kind of back in the day. So
sure.
I didn't understand at first. I thought she was saying that she looked at the other recipes from the other people, and halfway
Hmm.
through I was like, "Oh my god, did my mom just do Trailhead?" I was like, "Yes." She's like, "I think I'm just going to do some more, so when you're talking about stuff, I know exactly what you're talking about."
Oh, that's so
It's so
great.
awesome. Yeah, my sweetie, it's just, I didn't know that he would put it out there, and I am proud of it. And I don't not want to, we talked about in the last podcast, like our kudos folder, and you do want to shout out and what do I say, wag your own tail. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, he's very supportive. I mean, I told him today, I said, hey, I have a podcast to record tonight. He was like, oh, good. I was thinking about having a couple drinks too. I was like, those are not mutually exclusive, but I will also have some wine. Thank
It's
you.
so good to be known.
But it did feel weird too when they gave me a card that was like a little quote and the link to your, uh,
Recipe.
yeah, the recipe and my picture. I was like, thank
It's
you.
so cute.
They're like, oh my hand, these out different. But I think the it's most exciting that my mom was like, yeah, I did these like tracks or these modules. I was like, what is she talking about? Wait, oh my god, she did Trailhead. This is amazing.
Maybe she got the trail bed badge.
I got to tell you, I cannot believe I'm going to admit this out loud, and I'm going to hate myself later.
I want the sheets.
Between obligations and yada yada, I didn't get my TDX badge,
Oh, that happens.
my community badge.
I thought you meant the trail bed badge. I'm like, you still can.
And I'm like, it's the first time. And I was like, I guess it was the first time for everything. I just,
It
I feel like I
happens.
did it osmosisly. Like I helped at Camp Quick Start and other people were
Right?
getting badges.
Yeah. It's a bummer. No going
I
back.
sound like the lion. Okay, so
You learned
we
things. It was great.
we both had our events, also great. Um, How far have you gotten in Girl Wash Your Face? We did talk a little bit about that.
I finished it.
Right. I am through 2 chapters, and I forgot to bring my book into my closet here so I have references.
Ooh. I did read it for like just all the way through. Like I didn't really make notes. But what is really interesting is that it led me to start following her on
Instagram.
Instagram, and her event is happening like this weekend. I
Yes.
got excited
In
about
LA.
it. Yes, it's called Rise LA. And I got real excited for a second because I was like, we should go to this. It should be a thing. And then it's like this weekend.
Yeah, the
So
timing sucked, but it looks like an
not this timing.
amazing event.
Yes. So of course I wasn't thinking about talking about this, and now
That's okay. I don't have my book. So hey, stay tuned. Keep reading your book.
No, I was sorry, the conference. If anyone is listening is in LA, it's the 6th and 7th. It's letsrise.co, and it's a women conference and girls weekend. So it's designed, curated, and produced by Rachel Hollis, who wrote the book. So just supportive, enveloping community to build strength, energy, and motivation. So yeah, it seems she's one of those people from her writing style that I feel like I would totally hang out with and have fun with. And
yeah, totally.
So yeah, I think we definitely could kind of the chapters are somewhat connected, but also a little bit encapsulated. So it'll be interesting to see kind of which ones resonate most with you. There were some things about body image that were really kind of spoke to me. So yeah, I'll have to go back through and put some Post-it notes in there.
Yes, I have some Post-its and I have some underlining. But like most of my books, I took it on a trip. My book has now seen Denver and San Francisco. And that's it. That's it. I get involved in doing shit on the airplane when I think I'm going to read, or I fall asleep, or I get on my laptop, and as soon as I pay for internet, I'm like, I'm doing all the internet things.
Yeah,
I paid for this.
Value. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
So, I traveled. It's a well-traveled book.
That's okay. We got time.
Yep. Well, we'll discuss it in detail next week. So, let's talk about, so we have the Matrix we want to discuss. I thought I would throw this out there as a personal corner because I sing on this podcast today.
Yeah. Hello.
So some of, the Gift Squad knows, and I've talked with Ben before too, specifically about, going to therapy. It's how I say it. Going to therapy, we've talked about it before. So I've been in, counseling or therapy on and off because, you take care of your body, you take your vitamins. It's always good to get a mental health check or just check in. So one of my last appointments, which was back in December, I'd been feeling kind of up and down, a little manic as I can be, but it's also kind of how I'm programmed. But so she had suggested that I get tested, and some of maybe my things might be a touch of bipolar. And on one hand, you don't want to hear that, like, oh, okay, I have a thing. But on the other hand, it's like, oh, thank God, I have a thing. That's why. So I put it off, made an appointment, moved it, made an appointment with this other, because she's a therapist, not a psychiatrist that could prescribe. So I make the appointment and I move it. And then we're back and forth in emails. And you can tell with this therapist, the new one, she's just done. I was like, nope, that time doesn't work. I have to pick up my kid and the emails just stop. I'm like, I get it. Like, clearly I'm not serious. So I emailed her the other week. I'm like, ugh, trying to be on top of my shit. I was having a really great week. And then I had a week where I was feeling moody and down and I was like, what the fuck? So I made the appointment and I went and saw her today actually and had her evaluation for mild bipolar. And then she had me do the test for ADHD, which she had said actually, the long and short of it is she doesn't feel I fall into either one of those and I don't need medication. I believe her exact words were, girl, I do not think you need medication. And I was like, well, cool. Like, okay. So, okay. Because I didn't necessarily think that I felt down those lines, but then when someone gives you a possible reason for feeling, kind of nutso sometimes, you're like, oh, yes, totally, it's a thing. Blame it on the thing. I mean, totally.
Yeah, but it is a slippery slope to start feeling like it's an excuse sometimes
Totally.
too. So,
Yeah.
of like, oh, I don't get anything done, but I have ADHD. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I was more relieved than anything because yes, science is awesome, but there was a part of me that says, I was kind of wigged out a little about any kind of prescription that it was like, this is what you have to do forever. And I guess I wasn't prepared to not feel like me, which I'm sure that anybody that has had any variation of mental issues has felt that way. I mean, a lot of people don't want to take medication. So I thought, I'm not sure I'm ready to be put into that position of, do I or don't I? Do I make the choice to not take it, even though a doctor might say I should? So she said that. I said, okay, great. And then I said, well, I still think that therapy, I said, I'm a big preacher of how important it is. I still would like to come in. And she was like, okay, well, I'm not really a therapist. I'm more of like
Get out.
Yeah, medicine broker. I'm sure that's not what she said, but which was fine.
I'm a drug dealer.
Yeah, and which was fine because I didn't really feel a connection to her. Like her vibe was cool, but like I didn't really connect with her. So I'm happy to go back to the woman that I was with before that I feel like I connected with. I would leave her appointments feeling like, okay, I'm a whole person that's not falling apart at the seams. Yay me. So I don't know. I listened to another one of my favorite podcasts and they kind of got real at the end after talking about true crime because who doesn't about, things like that. And I guess I just want everyone out there that listens to us to know that, I am a happy person and I am light and bright all the time, but I struggle too. Like everybody struggles and don't be too proud to make that appointment and go see a therapist or a counselor and just unload because it feels good to have a medical professional or someone say, yeah, it's totally normal, or nope, that's fine, and validate you as a human if you feel like you are any of the X number of things that you think you are or aren't. So yeah,
it was interesting. I actually had my therapy appointment today and just with scheduling and life and whatever, I haven't seen my therapist in a while. And so it was interesting to, on one hand, I was pretty down on myself this morning, like pretty self-deprecating and just like kind of piling it on at her because I hadn't seen her in a while, and it's just interesting that, number one, I at least realize that what I'm saying is self-deprecating, which is a step in the right direction,
100%.
right? Like that. But also that, on the other hand, it's all about perspective sometimes, right? And I think talking to someone that has a lot of experience with other people with ADD, right? Like, for example, it's funny you talk about like rescheduling and stuff, because part of the reason that I'm working with my therapist now is because I got some recommendations from my doctor, and I kind of called around and blah, 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 but like ADD, right? So I, we played phone tag, and then I didn't, and she called me back and was basically like, don't forget this, call me back, and so it was great that it was like, oh, and like, so on one hand, I've been working on this stuff, or working with depression slash ADD slash maybe I'm depressed because I don't get things done with ADD, right? That whole combination, because it's such a gray area. And on one hand, I've been working on that for like 6 to 7 years, which is so frustrating. But on the other hand, like, I'm working on it.
Sure.
Right?
And it's not like one day you're like, and I reached the finish line.
Right. Yeah. But even like, I had to fight for my ADD diagnosis. And I took a test and had my friends take a test and got like a quote unquote borderline. And I think we've talked about, when I first saw Jan, it was like, oh, check, check, check. Oh yeah, 100%. Right. And I was like, finally. Yeah. And again, not that that is an excuse, but it's then I can start thinking about, well, and it's because I see certain people. I have a friend who just seems to be one of the people who gets shit done, right? He just is on all the time, and he's got kids and job and blah, 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 and he just is cooking. And I'm like, how do you do that? And he's just like, how do you not do that? Like, it's just your own headspace, right? And so just to realize, like, I struggle with executive function, right? And what's interesting is because I have the inattentive type. So it doesn't always present as hyperactive. Like, I nap a lot, or I get like apathetic about certain things that I don't want to do, right? So just about how the like other people do adult better and more reliably because they have the executive function to not choose the fun stuff all the time. And I'll talk about my super fave later that's kind of related to this, but it's just interesting. And I think you just have to keep trying. And it's hard.
And there's no shame in just doing it. Like, asking for help. I have anxiety almost before every appointment. When I met her today, she was like, "Hi, how are you? Are you ready?" And I was like, "I don't want to be here, for the record." She was like, "Cool." I was like, I don't want to do this. I said, I'm always afraid, especially when I'm feeling, especially in how I phrase it is I feel frayed at the edges. I know I need it, but I'm like, I just want to operate at this. Like, I'm fine. And then you're not fine. And I mean, just to be real with everybody too, it was hard for Josh to hear at first because I think he thought it was him. And it took a few conversations to let him know that I have been in and out of therapy and talking with therapists many years before him. But it took that I understood how he felt and I had to let him digest it and then come back like the next day and say, this isn't about you. Yeah, I might talk about you because that's my life, but that's not my motivator. Like, I'm not like...
I feel like we recorded that day and maybe the podcast knew that Josh didn't.
Yeah, he is so supportive now, but I think it was hard at first, I think, as a spouse to hear you need therapy and not internalize and think, what is it about us that you need to get help about?
And especially if he's a different kind of person, right? Like, that was the thing with my ex and I. Again, he's much more on the just get it done. Like, and so from an understanding perspective, it was hard for him, right? And so he felt like I was just making excuses a lot of the time, which again, some of the times
that comes with it. It's not like that's your bag. Like, I just make excuses.
Yeah. So there is an interesting element of, even if it's not you, how you can kind of interact with or optimize and encourage someone too. So, but I'm happy you have a husband support group and a gift squad support group and people that you can talk to about it, and me. Plus, we're recording, so all the people listening,
it's good. And really, the point is, like, you eat right or you don't. You work out or you don't. But you do all these little things. Take your vitamins. You learn a new Salesforce task. Like, there is no shame in taking a step to just go talk to a counselor and just have a mental tune-up.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Mental tune-up.
I think... what kind of segue can I come up with? So if you are taking a mental tune-up and you think you might want to make a job change in life, Leanne Rimal now, Leandroid, which is one of my favorite Twitter handles.
I just can't even call her just Leanne. Like, she is Leandroid.
No, Leandroid. Who, by the way, just has been flourishing on Mike Gerholt's team, and I just think she's keynoting things, and she just
I believe the phrase you're looking for is keynoting the fuck out of things.
Yeah, she 100%. Just is amazeballs. And she posted this great matrix and even a Google Doc version of it for people for comparing jobs. And it's just a really interesting look at, I think obviously money is a factor, right? Not the only factor. And there's things you think about, but really driving it down to, do you want to initiate and drive your own projects?
Yeah.
Right? Do you want would
Do you want to
you
run a team?
right, do you want to work with external audience or internal engagements, right? And seeing those kind of things that, like, what have I done in past jobs and what did I like about those things, and really getting that granular, especially if you're comparing multiple jobs, right? So what would your goals be? How does this fit into a growth plan that you see? Again, not that you're actually necessarily going to get there, because the trees branch a bunch of different directions, sometimes unexpectedly in Salesforce, but um especially interesting because I saw another chain I'll try and find about recommendations about negotiating. And part of it was, yes, it was about ask for more money. There's always more money, right? And then let them come back. And then if you're still not happy, ask again. Worst case, they say no, right? Like, just a lot of good things about that. But part of it was, maybe it is a small company. Maybe they really don't have budget for more money. But what other things are important for you that you can
Right.
negotiate? Maybe working from home, right? Or open
Conferences.
office versus office, right? Like, I know Simon Goodyear was able to be at
Yep.
Trailhead X and Southeast Streetman because he negotiated some basically paid time off days in addition to his standard
Right.
vacation, because that's an important factor of what he wanted to do from a travel perspective. So
Have we
um,
discussed
things
the
that
5 things, like the 5 things I always list and things I've told the women in tech group?
I don't think so.
Um, it's different now in the Salesforce ecosystem, but make a list of the top 5 things that are important to you. And for me now, and not like I'm in any kind of financial gain, but still, even when, especially in California, when things were tight, salary is usually like 3 or 4. But,
Mm.
making that list of what, and like you said, Simon built it in. Conferences are important to me. Dreamforce, continued education, support, growth, and money would be nice.
Well, and this is interesting too, because she's even got a list of things to avoid,
Right.
right? Like, does last minute travel sound fun or terrible? And so if a job includes that, then it's got some minuses, right? So it's really just a thoughtful pros and
It's
cons.
so great.
So kudos for sharing. I have no idea what the impetus was for her to share it today, but
It's amazing. And, putting that matrix together, um, I love it. I mean, it speaks to the spreadsheet person in me because we've talked, if not, I'll bring it up again. The achievements page that I learned in promote exclamation point that I read and talked about at Women in Tech group in Southern California. So the resume, and I'm sure we've discussed this before, when you're in this ecosystem, and I kind of feel like in general now, resumes are not like what they were when I entered the job force. There is not a,
Mhm.
oh God, objective statement. I would really, bullshit is what it is. It's a bullshit statement. Then your bullets,
It's a one page or two
right. Then your
pages.
bullets of, I excel at Excel. So that has changed. So I feel like now,
No I statements,
right.
action words.
Where have you worked? Tell me your job duties. Um, duty.
Duty.
You said duty. So now it's more like I feel like in general, but especially in our ecosystem, it's more like what have you done? Kind of not where you work. I mean, it's
Hmm.
it's kind of in the same vein as I cannot tell you how many times I've met someone and I don't know. I knew Charlie for like a year, Isaacs, before I realized he worked for Salesforce. He was just in my ecosystem. Nate, that came to the last user group meeting, I was like, wait, you work for Salesforce? It's just you know the people do the thing and you don't really like question where they are. So I feel like your resume is more like what have you done and where have you excelled, and then this achievements page is a sentence structure. And I can pull up and add in the show notes the structure of it and then my example if you want. It was basically what did you do? What did you accomplish and what did it yield? So more like I implemented Aptus. It yielded a better workflow for contract management and quotes for the sales team, or that was the middle part, and then yielded 3 million more in sales, whatever. So it was a really great addition to your resume instead of, oh, fine, here's my resume, here's my skills, here's where I worked. Let me really tell you about what I've done. Here's a quick one sentence on the things that I've accomplished. And it is great for negotiating raises, negotiating a salary, and adding to your resume. But her matrix coupled with that Like maybe you have 10 sentences of achievements. You want to tailor it like you do with a stupid cover page. I hate cover pages. They can just die on the vine. Fucking hate cover pages. So, but you could do the matrix and say, oh, okay, here's what I'm looking for in this job. Let me tailor my achievements page, or let me look for it. It's really brilliant. I saw a couple people retweet it, but it's I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. You can do the matrix.
In the market.
I'm always in the market.
Matrix. Boop, 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 boop. Do the matrix. Boop, 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 boop. Now we both have sang on this podcast, so now my day is complete. I do feel like you have been name dropping all over the place. So if anybody heard a first name and something interesting and they want to know who it is, we'll try and tag some name dropped people in the show notes. But otherwise, just tweet at Melinda and be like, who's the person you were talking about? So I can ask them when why do I have this voice where I mock everybody with marketing and who's this person you want to talk about?
That's all of our
like,
listeners
is that
sound like.
my Valley Girl mockery voice?
Speaking
like, what
of
is
contacting
happening?
us, or me specifically, I don't have cards. I don't have business cards. So when I started with Blue Wolf, solution architect in this like silo, Jason, my boss at the time, was like, you want cards? I'm like, why? You know where to find me. So I know I went to a Blue Wolf recruiting event at TDX just to kind of help out and chat with people. And among that, and especially after the campfire session, people asked for my card, and I don't have one. And either they need anyways, I'm going to get a card, but I think I've decided, not that I don't love Blue Wolf and want their cards, and maybe I'll get their cards too. I was thinking about doing like a personalized little polka dot card.
Okay, so the reason this is the super specialist, that's
it
not
is now
the word I wanted, but stupid also wasn't, but stupid is not. The reason this is apropos that you bring this up is because number one, at Southeast Dreamin', the lovely Grandma 9904, aka Marilee Neal, was there. She has her trademark pink sparkly hat, and therefore she made trademark pink business cards for herself. And I was cleaning out a purse, and I found the business card that I'm using as a bookmark right now in my Girl Washer Facebook that is Amber Boaz, daughter of Grandma 9904, also known as
daughter.
Amber 9904.
Yes,
daughter.
I'm a dummy.
And it's Amber Boaz, Salesforce MVP. It's got her Twitter, her mobile phone, her email, her certifications, and her LinkedIn.
That's what
website.
I need. So, I need to hand that out. Back in the day when I first got 2 certifications, my Salesforce admin and Dev 401, I made wooden cards. I think I told you this. Did I not show you? Okay, anyone out there, along with asking me what song was in my head, ask me about the wooden card, because I always have one on me. So it was carved out like the cloud, a wooden card, but there was like a piece of lucite. That's not the word. Sure. So it was carved out, and then on each side it had the certification and my phone number. But I didn't, as we've talked about before, don't understand measurements sometimes. And so I was like, yeah, the measurement's fine. And when I got them, they're like the size of trading cards. They're like huge and obnoxious. So
I think you need to make a lucite cloud and just put that on it, and the huge 2-bit sticker, which I need to. I know that I have one somewhere, and I can't find it. I got my personal laptop, and I'm like, I want to slap the biggest fucking sticker on there, and I can't find them yet because I haven't unpacked all my stuff. But I
stuck mine in my sticker binder because it covers the entire back page, or the like back side of it. It's awesome. But yeah, I need to get it because I really thought that our TDX badge would have more than just my name, but they take it from your Trailblazer community. So of course it's just like my name and where I work. But
so I bring a little mini Sharpie and I write my Twitter.
Why are you so smart?
I mean, to be fair, spanning back up, shout out to Lori. One year gave away tiny Sharpies at their booth. I want to say at Midwest Dreamin' maybe. So I might have stolen that idea from someone else, but it just lives in my backpack.
Smart.
And it's one of like the little keychain Sharpies, except I feel like the likelihood if I use it actually as a keychain that I'm going to draw on myself and or the contents of my purse is pretty high. So I don't use it as a keychain. I just leave it in my bag and then I Sharpie it.
You know that you would draw all over everything with a keychain Sharpie. I have a keychain whiteboard doodah, but that is less harmful.
So one fun draw on it thing that I learned about is like draw on them kind of monitors. And I don't know if you heard about the extracurricular while you were at Trailhead X. So Chuck Liddell and John and Jeremy from the Two It podcast. I'm sorry, oh my God, from the Good Day Sir podcast. And I think Roger Mitchell and some other great people that are in the Good Day Sir Slack channel, they planned the extracurricular. So it ended up being absorbed as a track within TDX. And they basically had like deep dive, no slide, show me code sessions, which again, not the target market for me, but amazeballs, and just some great panels and Q&A with like deep dive developer nerd friends unite. And they had draw on monitors that I don't even know.
You want to hear a funny story about Roger Mitchell? I should probably find him at an event. He may not even know this. So before I did Salesforce Twitter,
okay,
I had a pseudonym handle, and which shall not be named. But he and I used to communicate once in a while on there. And I moved over and we're friends now on, my Girly Geeks social. But I am dying to meet him in person because I don't think he knows that I'm the same person. Or maybe he does. Huh. I didn't know he was a Trailhead DX. I might have to DM him.
He might not have been there, actually, from what I was seeing on the Slack channel. But I met him at Forcelandia and another event. And he's a great presenter, super duper nice and knowledgeable. And yeah, he's a legit dude.
Yeah. Now I have to find. Now I'm all curious.
It's a small world after all.
Yeah, because I met him before Salesforce, I think. Before Salesforce entered my life.
Once upon a time. So clearly our super favorite thing is going to an event and collecting stickers.
Duh.
But aside from that,
no, I mean you hit it on the head. One of my super faves is my new Astro Cloud, my unicorn rainbow Astro Cloud sticker from the donation when you got to buy the doll, and not really buy the doll. You donated for the doll and for stickers. So that's my new favorite.
Shout out to Stephen Noe and my developer at Groundswell, who I reached out to and convinced to donate to buy me unicorns and send them to me. So
it's out in science, technology, and so out in STEM, by the way.
Cool.
Just to interrupt you. So
yeah, that's what we do here. So I'm excited when my unicorn will come in the mail. Oddly, in the weirdest circle of life again, I got mail today from another guy named Steven, and I thought it was my unicorn, and I got real excited. And then I realized it was my business cards because I just ordered my corporate ACN business cards. So weird connection. My favorite thing right now, I was having a day and eating my feelings, and I stopped at Trader Joe's to load up on cheap wine, and I bought sea salt brownie bites.
You had me at sea salt.
If you're on a diet, don't do it. They're delicious. I'm just gonna say, with the salty and sweet
and chocolate,
and they're small, so they're bite size. I mean, hypothetically, if you eat enough of them, then it's like a full size.
No,
brownie,
but still, they're better when they're tiny. Salads are better chopped,
and it's just a great contrast. And it's Trader Joe's, so I convinced myself that everything is good for me, which clearly is not.
It is. Organic sugar is better than regular sugar. Wow, better than regular sugar.
It's better than the other kind. So it's a win-win.
Yummy. It is a win-win. So everyone in this world knows the amazing customer service of Nordstrom. I went to put on my sunglasses, and they're a gift from a very good friend of mine. And I know that he shops at Nordstrom. So I just assumed he gave it to me maybe a year or two ago. And I opened my sunglasses case and the arm was off. And I had dropped them last Thanksgiving and had a little nick in the lens. So I took them in today. And I was like, can you just put these together? I said, I think he bought them here, but I'm not sure. And she's like, no, we have them, just not here. I was like, great. Whatever you can do. I actually even still had the screw. And I said, can you like buff that out? So basically, long story short, they just took them and are sending me a new pair in 3 business days. I was like, wait, what? I mean, and I was honest. I said, I've had these for a while. A friend bought them here, I think. Like, I wasn't trying to pull one over. And she's like, yep, no, we carry these. So she hands me the receipt. And I said, oh, okay. Because it had like the total. And I was like, wait, oh my God, did I just buy something? Shit, that's not what I was trying to do. And she's like, nope, we'll just send you a new pair. I said, oh, you could just buff out the lid. No, we'll just send you a new pair. And I was like, God, I love Nordstrom's. So I get brand new sunglasses.
That's so funny. Look at that. Now
I know.
I don't need any excuse to go shopping. Considering, okay, before I get into my super fave, my super not fave is when you're on Amazon and it's super easy to shop, which is great. They have like new and interesting finds, or like sometimes they show a picture of a thing and you're like, that's the cutest, I want that thing, but it's like an ad and you can't get to the details of the thing. And I'm like,
that's annoying.
Where are you? Okay, but the thing that I mentioned earlier that I just ordered for myself is called the Miracle Time Cube Timer.
What?
By DateX, DATEXX. This is going to sort of make me sound like a child, but that's where we're at. So instead of having to get out your phone, set a timer, choose the time, it's on your phone, so then your phone's in your hand, so you might not do the thing. Part of what we talked about, which I may have mentioned, but is like my struggle and what I'm trying to figure out is, number one, either things sound like they take forever. Like working on my taxes, like, ugh, it's going to take hours. So I get home from work at 6, I go to bed at 11, that's 5 hours. But like in my mind, I don't have time, right? And I think we've talked about like a lot of the perception of time.
Yeah.
So, so it can be used for time boxing. Like I will be on Tinder for half an hour, right? And then, but it's a cube and each side has a different amount of time. And all you do is turn that side up and it starts the timer. And so I ordered the one that's got 5, 15, 30, and 60 minutes, but they have ones that go like lesser intervals or like 15, 30, 45, 60 or whatever. So they're all kind of different. And the nice thing is I was like, see, but the thing is, part of my challenge is when the timer goes off that I have to get up and do something else. And she's like, that's when the 5 minutes can be great, right? Like you don't want to continually give yourself 5 minutes, but if you want, you just turn it. And the other aspect, like the other side of the spectrum is I don't want to do the annoying things that like emptying the dishwasher feels like it takes a year, right? Taxes, adulting, bill paying, whatever. But if you can train your brain, I can do anything for 15 minutes.
Sure.
Right? So you just flip the timer. It does have the readout on the side. So if you're like, how much longer do I have? You can look. But like just doing chunks of things, right? And so
I love it.
It sounds so silly, but it just, when you start talking about it like that, like, okay, even if I get home at 7, like I still have 3 hours to do stuff, and not everything takes 3 hours.
Right.
So we had kind of talked, I've mentioned in the past, I was trying to do kind of, this is similar to the Pomodoro timer, right? So really just, again, I can do anything for X period of time and using the reward, whatever, right? So I watch my TV show and then I do 15 minutes of chores. And then I watch a 30-minute show and I do 30 minutes of chores, right? So really it's just parenting yourself from a nice way.
But it's nice chunks.
Right? Yeah. So then, because she was like, what if you get home, you make dinner for half an hour, you work on unpacking boxes for half an hour, then you still have 2 hours to relax and do whatever you want to do. That's still time for you, right? So, and trying to structure it, right? So you're reading the book right before bedtime, or like helping use the time boxing, but also to like turn your brain off to then go to bed on time. Because that's the thing, is I get caught up in things and then I don't go to bed till 12:30, and then it's that repeating cycle of being tired, right? So
it's like almost a little contest too. Like, oh, I got 15 minutes. I can hammer this out in 15 minutes. Cake. You can do anything for 15 minutes.
Well, worst case, it takes longer than 15 minutes, and either you get sucked into it and you want to finish, or you just fucking stop and drop it and do something fun and then come back to it later.
But you at least
right?
got some done. Yeah, no, I totally like
started, it. Which is like half the battle. So it's $19. And yeah, like I said, there's one for kids that's like 1, 3, 5, and 10 minutes. And there are different colors. So
I love it. I love it for
so that was the
big projects too, that you're like, whatever it is, taxes or what you're working on, when it does seem like that's too much for me, laundry. When that, especially with work stuff, when it seems like too much, I zone the F out on social media. I don't even care what I'm looking. I'm looking at nothing. I'm reading nothing.
It's so great to catch up. We are late a week if anyone's keeping track, but no one is, so it's okay. And we had stuff going on. I've been having my family here, so that's an extra super fave. Just the icing on the cake, the fudge on the sundae. My parents,
the sea salt on the brownie.
The sea salt on the brownie. My parents have been here, and my dad helped make a bunch of repairs around my house. Nice. And it's just been great, and it's been helpful. My mom did dishes and helped me unpack some kitchen stuff, and just progress is happening. So
parents are the best for that.
Yeah, supportive and wonderful. And he definitely was listening to our podcast on the road trip. So he called me and he's like, I was just listening to you.
Thank you.
Super, Dad. Right? What did I say?
Oh my God, what did I say?
How many cuss words were there? So I'm so happy we got to catch up. And thank you to everybody that asked about stickers at these events and took our lovely 2 wet stickers and put them on your laptops and acrylic clouds and shadow boxes. And I mean, unless you've got anything else,
I don't.
Keep hanging in the closet and stay witty.